I'm going to be doing part 2 to the 2023 paper 1 short response for math methods. So pretty much just continuing the questions from the last video on this paper here. Okay, so this is for the QCAA syllabus. You're only allowed the formula sheet and no calculator. Okay, but yeah, so we're just going to be continuing off from question 14. If you have any questions at all in the video, try and tell me which question you're having trouble with and timestamp when like which part you're actually having trouble with. That way I can find it quite easily, okay? But otherwise, let's get straight into the question, okay? So, the rate of change in the number of bacteria in a science experiment is represented by, and we're given a differential equation here. So, dp over dt equals e to the power of 2t, and t has to be greater or equal to 0. Where t represents the time in hours since starting the experiment, and p represents the number of bacteria present in the thousands. Initially, there are 60,000 bacteria present. So remember, because it's in thousands, we don't have to chuck that number in for p, we only have to chuck in 60, okay? Oh yeah, they explain it right here as well. So pretty much p of 0 is 60, because the word initially means t equals 0, so if they didn't say that, you could work that out. So when t equals 0, p equals 60. That's all that's saying there. Determine the equation for p of t. Okay, so all we have to do is actually integrate this equation. So at the moment it's a differential equation. So if we want to turn this into just p as a function of t, we need to integrate it with respect to t. Okay, so all we do is just write our differential equation. So we have dp dt equals e to the power of 2t. Integrate this side, so p equals the integral e to the power of 2t dt. Now to integrate this guy here, you need to divide by the differential of your inside function, okay? So the integral of the Euler function, or e to the x, is just e to the x. So if we differentiate 2t, it would give you 2. So that means the integral of this would be 1 over 2, because we have to divide by that differential, e 2t plus a constant of integration, okay? Now, we can actually find this constant of integration because of this stuff here. So when t equals 0, p equals 60. So we can actually replace this information into our equation down here, and that would give us our value for c. So here we have 60 equals a half e to the 2 times by 0, or 0 plus c. Now, this bit here is just going to turn to e to the 0. Now, e to the 0 is just 1. So here we actually have 60 equals a half plus c. I'll just move this out that way. It's a half plus c. Then we have to move the half to the other side. So 60 minus a half gives you c. So all we're going to have pretty much is 59.5 as c. Okay. So here, now I actually have an answer to the question. You have to say what p is. So p is this exact same thing here. Except instead of putting c, you've got to put 59.5. Or whatever the fraction is of that one there. Okay. Alright. B. Determine the change in the number of bacteria during the 3rd hour. Okay. So what this means is basically when they're saying the change in the number of bacteria during the 3rd hour. So basically how much did it increase or decrease from the 2nd hour to the 3rd hour, okay? So when it says the change in bacteria during the 3rd hour, what that's asking is the population when t equals 3, subtract the population at t equals 2. Now, if the population increased, this should be positive. If the population decreased, this should be negative, okay? We can work that out by determining, alright, what sign this is going to be. So pretty much we need to work out these values. So p equals a half e to t plus 59.5. So here, chuck in p of 3. So we get a half e 2 times by 3 plus 59.5. Then we have p of 2, so half e 2 times by 2 plus 59.5, okay? Now all we have to do pretty much here is just try and simplify this if we can. So we can rewrite this guy as a half e to the power of 6 plus 59.5. And here we can just rewrite this as a half e to the power of 4 plus 59.5, okay? Now all we have to do is just pretty much just substitute this guy into our equation here, and same with the other one. So this would go here, and then this one here would go there, okay? Now all we have to do is just chuck that in. So here we're actually going to get an expression, so we'll have a half e to the 6 plus 59.5 minus this entire thing, so half e to the power of 4 plus 59.5. If we distribute that negative, we're going to be left with this plus, or I should say subtract, this stuff here, okay? Now here we can see that that cancels out perfectly with that, so here we can just get rid of those. So all we're left with is pretty much this as an expression. Now we're not going to be able to work this out in any more detail because we don't have a calculator. So the answer is a half e to the 6 subtract a half e to the power of 4, and there's literally nothing else you can do here, okay? If you have any questions about these ones here, leave something in the comments and I'll try my best to answer it, okay? But let's move on to the next part, okay? So, C, determine how long it will take for the number of bacteria present to double after starting the experiment. So, pretty much at the start of the experiment, we said we had 60,000 bacteria. Now remember, it's in thousands already. So, when we're saying double, we're just treating it like, all right, 60 is 60,000. So double would be 120,000, or in this case here, 120, okay? So we want to know, all right, when does the population hit 120 in this case here? So here we just put our equation, so P equals a half e to the 2t plus 59.5. Now all we're going to do is pretty much just substitute this value into our equation and solve for t as best we can given what resources we have. So here 120 equals a half e to the 2t plus 59.5. Move that across, so you're going to have 120 minus 59.5 equals a half e to the power of 2t. This is going to give you 60.5 because 120 minus 60 is going to be 60, so minus 59.5 would give you 60.5, and then you have a half here, e to the 2t. Then we're going to move the half across, so multiply both sides by 2. So 60.5, so double 60 and double 0.5, that's going to give you 120 and 1, so 121 equals e to the 2t. Now if we want to get this by itself, we need to put natural log on both sides, so natural log of 121 equals natural log of e to the power of 2t. We can bring that 2t down the front, so we have natural log of 121 equals 2t natural log of e. Now because these guys are the same bases, so we have the base of the exponential, so here these are the same, this turns into just 1 pretty much. So here we just have almost t by itself, so pretty much to get t by itself you would just divide by 2 on both sides. So when the population doubles, it will be at this time here. Now unfortunately we won't know what time that is going to be without a calculator, but that's the best we can do to answer this question here, okay? So if you have any questions about this one here, leave something in the comments and I'll try my best to answer it, but let's move on to the next one, okay? So, question 15. In a certain game, players throw one water balloon at a target. There is only 1 in 4 chance of hitting the target. State the probabilities that all possible outcomes for one throw at the target. So, basically, if you're throwing something at a target, you could hit it or miss it. So this is a binomial probability. So here, the probability of hitting it is 1 in 4. So we're going to say that's favorable. And the complement to that, so the probability of missing it, is 3 in 4. So we're just going to say you could hit or you can miss. Okay, so straight away I know this is going to be a binomial probability. Okay. Alright, let h be the discrete random variable for one of the possible outcomes. Determine the mean and the variance of the distribution of the random variable h when 20 players throw a water balloon at the target. Now because this is binomial, we can actually use our formula. So the average or the mean for a binomial distribution, in this case here, so mu is representing our average, would be the number of trials times the probability of success. Now they've said here, they say variance, yeah, variance in this case here, so variance of h would just be NPQ. So number of people times the probability of the complement, okay? So what should we do here is just chuck in the information. So here we had n equals 20, so 20 times by the probability of success, which is 1 over 4, so 1 over 4 goes there. Then the variance, oh actually we should do this one first, so 20 divided by 4 is going to be 5, so the variance here as well, we'll just do that, h. We know this bit here is going to be 5, so we have 5 times by 3 on 4. So the variance of our random variable h is going to be 15 divided by 4, and I don't think that could be simplified any further. Okay. Yeah, and that's how you answer these questions here. Now I'm assuming these 2 marks is for the hit and for the miss. And I'm assuming these 2 marks are for this and that. Not hard questions, but could be hard if you didn't study for them, okay? Alrighty, if you have any questions about these ones here, leave something in the comments. Let's head down to the next one. Alright, solve for x in the equation. Okay, so straight away, this is one of the exponential equations that are they're kind of tricky when you learn them in class, but this is a parabola, okay? Now, how I know it's going to be a parabola is based on these powers here. So this is a 2x negative, and this is just a 2x. There's no way I could get the x's together because I've got this term here, okay? So I know I'm going to have to do some sort of substitution to make it easier on myself. So straight away, I'm just going to move everything to one side and make it equal to 0. So I'm going to move this over here and that over there. So here you would have 3e 2x minus 7e negative 2x minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay. Now what I'm going to do to make it easier on myself is I'm going to get rid of that negative exponent. So what I'm going to do, now you technically can't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway, times both sides of the equation, or I'm just going to times the entire equation by e to the power of 2x. Now the reason why this is good pretty much is we can cancel some stuff out. So if we distribute this, that'll give you 0. That'll give you negative 4e to the power of 2x. This is going to work out, and this will work out as well. So here, let's do this first one. So this will give you 3e to the power of 4x minus, this is going to cancel that out perfectly, so you just have minus 7. And then here you're just going to have minus 4e to the 2x equals 0. Now I'm just going to rearrange this again. Okay. Now hopefully you can see what I mean by a quadratic, okay? So here, if I were to go, alright, let's try and isolate this term here strictly, okay? So here I could turn e to the power of 4x. I could rewrite that as this. So here if I did that, it'd actually be a lot more obvious to actually what I'm actually physically talking about, okay? So here, we actually have a quadratic. Now, the quote-unquote variable in this case here is an exponential equation itself, which isn't that common in mathematics, but in methods you probably should have seen this quite a bit. So here, just to make it easier on ourselves, what we can do is just substitution. So let u equal e to the 2x. And boom, there we go, we have a quadratic equation, which is actually quite easy to solve at this point, okay? Alright, so here, now, I'm not going to take any risks, just pull out the quadratic equation. So here, u would be negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. Now in this case here, the a, b, and c represents the coefficients of x squared, x, and whatever the constant here. So a, b, c in this case here is 3, negative 4, you have to include the sign, and negative 7. Now you just chuck this information in the blue into your quadratic function right here. Okay, so here if you do that, so u will be negative of negative 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times by 3 times by negative 7. Okay, divide by 2 times by 3. So now let's try and simplify this as best we can. So u is going to be positive 4 plus or minus square root, this will be 16. Here this will be, let's try and work this out first. So 3 times 7 is 21, and then times that by 4, that's going to give you 84. So you're going to have a minus 84 here, all over 6. Now I'm pretty sure, actually we might have made an error somewhere. Oh no, we haven't. That's a positive, unfortunately, or not unfortunately. That's good for us. So 84 plus 16, let's work out whatever that's going to be. That's going to give you, I think it's going to give you 100. Yes, that does give you 100. So here you're going to have 4 plus or minus the square root of 100 over 6. And then here we can simplify that. So square root of 100 is 10. So here we just have 4 plus or minus 10 on 6. Now I'm going to rub out some of the stuff up here because I'm actually running out of room. So if you have any questions at all, just rewind the video back because I'm physically running out of room to answer this question here. Alright, so chuck the numbers in. Once I rub this stuff out here, So here we'll have 4 plus or minus 10 over 6, which means we have 4 plus 10 over 6, or we have 4 minus 10 over 6. So here that's going to be 14 over 6. I don't think, actually that could be simplified. Take out a common factor of 2, so you have 7 over 3. Here this is going to give you negative 1, I believe. Yep. Alright, now, we're not finished. We have just found the value for u. We are trying to solve this exponential equation. Oh, I just dropped my book everywhere. That's alright. Now, just chuck this here and here. So here we have e to the 2x equals 7 over 3, and negative 1 equals e to the 2x. Now this cannot be solved, okay? There's no way we can solve, no power makes something negative. So this here has no solution. This here does, just log both sides. So you get 2x equals natural log of 7 over 3, and then divide by 2, okay? So here that would be your answer to this question, okay? Yeah, and that's how you solve that one. If you have any questions about this one, or this one here, leave something in the comments. I'm probably going to do a part 3 just so I don't make these videos extremely long. Okay? But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.